All right, so I'm standing between an Arctic Fox and a Wolf Creek, both made by Northwood. Very common questions that we get. Obviously, the big one is what's the difference between a Wolf Creek and Arctic Fox? Biggest difference is going to be height. So the Wolf Creek, with the AC, it's about 8 feet 7 inches tall. The Arctic Fox is going to be about 10 feet. So you got a little over a foot of difference between height. The front cap, they're both going to be fiberglass front cap, but just with the height difference, that Wolf Creek is going to be a little bit smaller in the cab versus the Arctic Fox. You can kind of tell that going back and forth between the two from the outside. And while we're on that subject, we'll jump in. So right now I'm sitting in the Wolf Creek 890 model. As you can tell, it's a little bit shorter in height, so it does have the flat ceiling versus the cathedral arch ceiling in the Arctic Fox. Obviously my head's hitting the ceiling here, but the Wolf Creek is made for a 3/4 ton truck. Arctic Fox, we want a 1 ton truck. So they just have to make things a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter on the Wolf Creek to make those 3/4 ton accessible. So in this one, I'm sitting in the Arctic Fox 990, and as you can see, I have a lot more headroom in this one, especially with the cathedral arch ceiling. Another difference with the Arctic Fox is you do have carpeted ceiling, so it just gives you a little bit more nicer touch compared to the Wolf Creek. A little bit more nice finish with the carpet, makes it a little bit more homey. So another thing with the Arctic Fox is you do have a skylight in each Arctic Fox truck camper versus the Wolf Creek. Generally, the Arctic Fox is going to have bigger fresh gray and black tanks. So again, when we're comparing Arctic Fox to Wolf Creek, Arctic Fox just has a little bit more into it, bigger water tanks. Just you do need that 1 ton truck for that versus the Wolf Creek, again with the 3/4 ton capability. So another difference with the Arctic Fox, we do have 2-inch thick sidewalls compared to the Wolf Creek. It's just 1 inch. So Arctic Fox does have a little bit more insulation, along with 2 sheets of Luan plywood in the sidewalls in the Arctic Fox versus the Wolf Creek just has 1 sheet of Luan plywood. So one thing with the Arctic Fox is you do have you can't see it obviously on the outside, but the construction inside, you do have extra welded framing on the corner here. So if you're going down the road and you see some truck campers that have some tie downs on the front, that's because the cab flexes a little bit, so that helps reduce that. But that's a big thing with Arctic Fox is inside this corner here, they do that aluminum structure that just helps with that shake. So another difference, Wolf Creek, Arctic Fox truck campers. Wolf Creek, you have the traditional slider windows. Over here on the Arctic Fox, you have the frameless look, and then those will open up from the bottom. Benefit of the frameless windows is you can keep those open while it's raining. Yeah, so another common question we get with the frameless windows, you know, they only open about 4 or 5 inches on the bottom, is getting a nice breeze with that cross ventilation. But what you do is you open up the max air fan, you force air out. That'll help suck air through, so you actually feel a breeze, even though it's not opening quite as much as the traditional windows on the Wolf Creek. So another common question we get is some models in the Wolf Creek and the Arctic Fox can come in a long box version and a short box version. So what that means, this is for the Wolf Creek 850, 890, and the Arctic Fox 865 and 811. So this is for all of those models. So this model we have here is a Wolf Creek 890. It is the short box model, so it is made for the 6.5 bed. What that does, adds the generator compartment. So you can see this is the overhang that you'll have on the short box model. When they make this in the long box version, this overhang shortens and then it removes the generator compartment. So again, this is a short box model, a little more overhang on the rear of your truck. That's because you got the generator compartment. Again, if they make this in the long box model, this part shortens up, eliminates the generator compartment, and then you get a small storage compartment in the long box model. The long box models are generally going to be a little bit lighter just because they don't have that generator compartment. So big thing with truck campers is people are trying to watch weight. So if you have that 1-ton 8-foot bed, that long box is going to be a good option for that. You can put a 6.5-foot model on an 8-foot bed. You're just going to have about 16-inch gap towards the back of the bed, which is fine because you can use that for extra storage, or you know, people with work trucks have those storage compartments, so that gives you that option there. So another difference between the Arctic Fox and Wolf Creek, do have 30-pound propane tanks on the Arctic Fox line. And then jumping over the Wolf Creek, you have a compartment for 2 20-pound propane tanks. So again, just a couple of small differences to make the Wolf Creek a little bit lighter, and it doesn't necessarily sacrifice construction features. And comparing the bathroom sizes, we're in an Arctic Fox 865. Jumping into the bathroom here. Again, I'm 6'2". I have plenty more room with the skylight. A lot more room to turn around in the Arctic Fox. So a little bit bigger bathrooms in the Arctic Fox. So again, when we're talking about Wolf Creek and Arctic Fox differences, just with the height of the Wolf Creek, the bathroom's going to be quite a bit smaller. A little bit more tight. Again, for reference, I'm 6'2", so when they add this skylight here, my hair is just touching the top, so it's doable, but you can tell it is a little bit smaller. All right, let's jump in the Arctic Fox. So the difference with Arctic Fox in the bedroom and the truck campers, you do have drawers on each side, where in the Wolf Creek it's just going to be an empty space, so it just doesn't necessarily have this nice drawer compartment. Okay, my name is Josh here at Niemeyer's in Albertville, Minnesota. Just thanks for walking with us on the differences between the Arctic Fox and Wolf Creek truck camper. Let us know what you think about in the comments, what truck you have and what needs you have.